Okay, the last section that we're going to look at is applications and percent. So in order to solve application problems, we are going to be setting up a proportion or an equation based on the information given. So we want to start by reading the problem, and we want to determine if the given information is the part or the whole, or which given information is the part or the whole. We want to write an equation. Use either the percent proportion or percent equation. We're going to solve, and then we want to check that our answer makes sense in the context of the problem and the real world. Include correct units. So for example A, we have about 65% of the students at City Center College receive some form of financial aid. We want to know how many of the 9,280 students enrolled this year are receiving financial aid. So I'm going to use the percent proportion in order to set this up. So we get 65 over 100 is equal to 9,280. Is this the part or the whole? Is it going to go on top or bottom? So some key words that we have here, notice that we have of 9,280. Also, this is the total student body. So this is going to be the whole, which means that it goes on bottom. We have 65% receive financial aid, and we want to know what is that amount, and so X will go on top. So if we go ahead and cross multiply, we get 100x. Using a calculator, I get 65 times 9,280 is 603,200. So 603,200. We go ahead and divide by 100, and we get X equals 6,032 students receive financial aid. Okay, example B, we have there are 50 points on the first math test. Hugh's test was 83% correct, and we want to know how many points did Hugh earn. So we have 83 over 100. There were 50 possible points, so that's going to be my whole. I'm going to put it on bottom. Hugh earned 83%, and so we're wanting to know how many points did he earn. X goes on top. If we cross multiply, we get 100x equals 4,150. We divide by 100. We get X equals 41.5. So Hugh earned 41.5 points. Okay, let's look at some other examples. Example C, we have the LA Lakers made 47 of 80 field goal attempts in one game. we want to know what percent is this to the nearest whole percent. So this one, since we are finding the percent, I'm going to set this up as P over 100 equals, all right, which one of these is the part and which one is the whole? Well, 80 field goal attempts, that was how many were attempted in the game. So we get 80 on the bottom. They made 47 of these, so we're going to put 47 on top. And then we go ahead and cross multiply. We get P times 80 is 80P. 100 times 47 is 4,700. If we divide both sides by 80, we get P equals 58.75. Now it did say that we want to round to the nearest whole percent. So this is going to be P equals 59%. Example D, we have Valley College predicted that 1,200 new students would enroll in the fall. It actually had 1,600 new students enroll. We want to know the actual enrollment is what percent of the predicted enrollment. So we have P over 100. We do have those key words in this statement. We have the actual enrollment is, so I'm going to put the actual on top. The actual was 1620. And we have of the predicted enrollment. So the predicted enrollment is going to go on the bottom. We get 1620 over 1,200. All right, if we cross multiply, we get 1,200 P equals 162,000. If we go ahead and divide by 1,200, using a calculator, I get P equals 135%. Does that answer make sense in the context of the real world? Yes, it does, because we actually received more than we predicted, and so our percentage is going to be more than 100. Okay, last one. A frozen dinner advertises that only 18% of its calories are from fat. If the dinner contains 55 calories from fat, what is the total number of calories in the dinner? So when we set up our proportion, we get 18 over 100. Now, does the 55 go on top or bottom? Well, we are being asked to find what is the total number of calories. That's the whole. So we're going to put X on the bottom. We're going to put 55 on top. If we cross multiply, we get 18X equals 5,500. Divide both sides by 18, and we get X equals 305.55, and it keeps going. Now it did say that we want to round to the nearest whole number, and so we are going to have x equals 306 calories. We're going to round up. Okay, so that takes care of some basic percent examples. Now, in the last module, we talked about ratio of increase and ratio of decrease. So that's going to be the next thing we want to do. So in order to find percent increase and percent decrease, our first step is going to be the same as we did in the last module. We want to find the amount of the increase or decrease by subtracting the two values. When we set up our proportion, the value that we found above is going to be the part or the top number, and the starting value is the whole or the bottom number. So let's go ahead and try some examples. Example A, we have over the last 2 years, Dwayne's rent has increased from $650 per month to $767 per month. We want to know what is the percent increase. So the first thing that we're going to find is the amount of the increase. If we subtract the two values, we get 767 minus 650 is equal to 117. Okay, when we set up our proportion, we're going to have P over 100. The value that we just found goes on top with our percent. And the value on the bottom is the original value. And so his rent started at $650. Okay, we go ahead and cross multiply. We get 650 P equals 11,700. If we divide by 650, we get P equals 18%. Okay, let's try another couple of examples. We have example B, a shopping mall increased the number of handicap parking spaces from 8 to 20. What is the percent increase? So our amount of the increase, we're going to subtract. We get 20 minus 8 equals 12. When we set up our proportion, we get P over 100 equals 12 over, what did we start with? We started with 8 spots. All right, if we cross multiply, we get 8P equals 1200. And if we divide by 8, we get P equals 150%. All right, last example for this section. During a severe winter storm, average daily attendance at an elementary school fell from 425 students to 200 students. What was the percent decrease? So we're going to start by finding the amount of the decrease. This is going to be 425 minus 200, which is equal to 225. All right, if we set up our proportion, we get P over 100 equals, my 225 goes on top, and then which number did we start with? Originally, attendance was at 425. All right, if we cross multiply, we get 425p equals 22,500. If we divide by 425, we get P equals 52.94, and it does keep going, percent. If we go ahead and round this, let's go ahead and round to the nearest whole number. We get P equals 53%. All right, so that takes care of some basic ones. Go ahead, take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some financial examples of percent.